How's everybody doing tonight? We've been excited for this one for sure tonight. We got a lot of good content, guys. Good to see everybody coming in. We got Cal and Kirk here tonight. Cal was a little under the weather, but he was able to make it in. We got a lot of good stuff we're going to get to tonight. And at the end of the show, guys, we are definitely going to take more questions from you guys, the family out there. We want to involve you guys more. It's hard to talk to you guys, get the questions, be able to talk, watch everything. So we want to make sure at the end of the broadcast, if we miss your questions, we're going to stop and take your questions. That way, hopefully, we can get to most everybody. Maybe not everybody, but I think we can do a better job like that. I'm now wearing a headset tonight. Hopefully, that will help you all hear me. I'm trying everything I know to do to try to help with the sound quality. So hopefully, you're able to hear me better tonight. Uh, we got a pretty good show lined up tonight. Uh, we're going to talk about some, I think, some pretty fun things tonight. It's going to keep us busy for sure. And I want to thank Janice in the chat tonight, running the moderating. She's working really hard for us. And I'm going to go ahead and bring Kirk and Cal in.
Hello, everyone.
Good evening, all. It's nice to see everybody.
How's
I
everybody
told
doing
everybody
tonight?
we're going to rock it out tonight, guys. We got some good stuff to
Exactly.
talk about. And
Exactly.
I told them at the end, we're going to take questions, try to get to as many questions. If we miss it, wait till the end. We'll try to catch the questions.
Exactly.
It's
Hello,
going to be a good
Tanisha.
night. Um,
Thank you, Dragon
tomorrow,
Mom. I'm feeling better.
That's wonderful.
yeah, that's good to hear.
I was really worried about you yesterday. I know you were very sick. You were in the hospital. Some of us, I'm sure, said prayers for you. And quite frankly, I think that's a very important thing. God plays a hand in healing all.
He does. I want to thank everyone for praying for me. That means a lot.
It was a pretty rough bug. I think I had it too.
And I actually have my little cat here with me. She'll help me answer questions if there's something I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Well, as long as your cat and Janice's cat doesn't start getting together and collaborating, we'll be okay.
Exactly. I can
They're
promise you this, my cat does not talk.
Hey, Amy, good to see you. Good to see you tonight on a Saturday night. It's really good to see you.
Hi, Emmy.
We got there's Brandy's here tonight.
Hey, Brandy, it's good to see you.
She's going to be probably one of our future moderators. I spoke to her on the phone the other day to help
I
Janice
was
out.
actually going to talk to you about that. I think she would make a very good one.
I believe she
Yep,
would.
I think she's going to be helping us out. She's a really good morale booster. She has a great personality. I spoke to her on the phone. She's a good big fan, so definitely.
And Brandy, please send me a friend's request on Facebook.
There's Tamara. Tamara's here tonight.
Hey, Tamara, it's nice to see you.
I'm probably going to butcher this name, but I believe it's Tashana's here tonight.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. Tashana, it's nice to see you.
And Dragon Mom is here tonight.
Yep.
Always good to see Dragon Mom.
Tanisha's here. She was on just
Hi,
with us the other night
Tanisha.
also.
Yes, she was.
We got Belinda.
Belinda, very
We'll let
good.
we'll let we'll let you know something, Thomas, when we actually start needing a couple more moderators.
Oh. Um, seeing a lot of our family in here tonight, guys. It's good to see
And
y'all.
that's a good thing. It's great to see him.
Tonight, don't get me wrong, guys. Tonight's going to be a great show, but tomorrow is going to be a great show also because tomorrow's topic. We don't know when we're going to go live yet. That's still up in the air. But tomorrow's topic is going to be when they mimic us. And I know Kurt's got some really dark stuff to talk about, and I'm going to be talking about some stuff from Granny's.
Yep.
Oh
It's going
yeah.
to be a
Yep.
good night.
Very
Country.
much so.
Yeah. I think Cal's even a fan of the Granny stories.
Quite frankly, when they mimic us, it's very
Yes.
scary.
Yes. Yes.
I would love to meet your granny.
Debbie, I hope you get some rain down there if y'all are needing it. And there's Starfire's in here.
Hey, Starfire.
Belinda, I don't know if I missed her or not, but Belinda's here.
Belinda's, it's good to see you.
Yeah, I'm actually have been excited for tonight's live that we're going to do. I think it's going to be really, really good.
Yeah.
I am very excited for tonight. And of course, unfortunately, go ahead, Cal.
Thomas said he had a research partner quit due to something following him home. I had the same thing.
Yes, you did, Cal.
And I'm glad Thomas said that because that's actually the topic of tonight is how to keep hitchhikers from coming home with you.
Well, that's one of the topics tonight. There's a couple other things I'm going to have to touch on that have happened recently. And, you know, I really hate going here, but I'm going to have to. But we'll wait till the show's actually in the swing of things.
That's what I was going to say. This right here down was where I had the show scheduled. But what happened last night created all of this. So we're going to knock it out of the way here just a little bit when everybody gets the chance to come in here.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. I want to make sure that there were people in here, enough. Everybody needs to hear this.
Yes.
Hey, John, how's it going?
Good to see you, John. We got I got this guy right here, John P's an awesome guy. I accidentally about banned him the other night because his emojis wasn't coming through and I wasn't sure what he was doing, but glad to see you, John P. We're glad to have you with us, brother.
Exactly, and I think John is one that will take what we have to say later to heart.
Beverly Yates is in here tonight.
Hi, Bev.
We got Peter's here tonight. There's another familiar face.
Hey, Peter, how's it going?
Hello, Brooks. There's another familiar.
Hey, Peter, I hope I sound better on the ear thing. Everybody said you wasn't able to hear me, so we're trying to fix it up for you guys. We listen to you guys. Guys talk.
And Peter, we did figure out the background noise. It was actually a neighbor hacking into my Wi-Fi.
Yeah, he had a neighbor hacking his Wi-Fi, Cal.
Yeah, that's what he told me.
Wait, was he piggybacking? That sounds familiar, don't it? Wait, we're going to discuss that. We're going to discuss that a little bit tonight, aren't we?
Exactly.
There's a little prelude to what's coming up. Oh wait, did I use too big a word for me?
Did I just hear banjos playing?
I don't know. Maybe so. I think Uncle Joe's over tonight. Yeah, I guarantee you he would get a lesson in how to conduct himself down here if he acted like that. I guarantee you.
Well, I'm just going to say, man needs to know what a Southern gentleman is.
That's exactly it.
He needs lessons in being a Southern gentleman.
I'm going to refrain from certain words tonight that I would love to use.
So will I. I will be very professional.
Like I said, I will treat everything as if I'm in a courtroom. Doesn't mean I'll be gentle. It just means that I will be. Let me lower it down. Let me dumb it down so I can understand what I'm saying. I'm going to try to sugarcoat it.
Exactly.
Well, I'll not make no promises.
Cal, that's one of the things we love about you.
Hey, never back up. Always go forward.
Exactly.
I think that's what he says too. But
I
Now,
don't know. I think he backs up quite often.
uh, hey, Lori Jean,
Hey, Sharon, how's it
Jenkins
going?
has a
Hi, Donna.
question. She says, "Please define hitchhikers."
okay, yeah, let's I'm going to go ahead and start the show. We're over 100 people already.
Good.
So since we're going to be talking about something that's really not related to the topic tonight, we'll go ahead and get that out of the way so that when people do come in, we'll be on topic. There
I'll
was
let you start it off.
there was a another channel last night that I was alerted to by several people by messenger, email. Uh, Kirk was also alerted by other people, and I'm not talking about people from my channel. I'm talking about people
No.
from that channel was actually alerting me, telling me, "Hey, we just unsubscribed. We're not following this no more, Mike. You need to go check this out." It wasn't so much to me that somebody would disagree on an investigative practice. Not everybody does things the same way, but whenever you resort to name calling and talking about diseases that I have a family member that suffers from, that is a serious disease that I about lost her twice, and you start calling my kinfolk backwoods people, and you start talking about my family, and you say you're not going out into the woods as boots on the ground and finding these things. Well, by you saying that people aren't finding these things and talking to these things out in the woods, well, guess what? You just called every Native American culture out there a bunch of liars because they totally disagree. They traded with them, they lived with them, they fought with them. But I guess that's a book you must have missed between Spider Man and He Man somewhere. Now, what I would like to say is that whenever you use your professionalism and you conduct an actual investigation, let me give you some 101 advice and maybe this will help you. Number one, you have to secure a scene. You have to be able to collect evidence. You have to be able to piece it together to come up with a hypothesis to why it happened. You got to be able to prove many different aspects of the case. Now, if I was to sit behind my desk and get a phone call and somebody says, "All right, there was a murder over here on such and such street. He was shot in the head." Am I just supposed to type in my report? Joe Blow called me, said this is how it happened, so that's what happened. Well, if you don't go boots on the ground and you don't go collect the evidence, you don't do the witnesses, you don't do testimony, you don't do pre hearings, and you don't do litigation, and you just take somebody's word for it, well, you're going to be you're going to be locking up a lot of innocent people. And if we're going to just take people's word for it, we might as well just go open the prison doors and let them out because there ain't a guilty person in prison.
Exactly.
I think common sense was missed in this childhood rage. Um, Whenever you rage like that, you become ignorant, and it's dangerous not only to you, but also when you start striking down people's way of lives, their family, their background, their roots, their family tree. That's very
You're
rude to your
asking for trouble.
that's very rude to your listeners, to your listeners' family, to all the people that go boots on the ground. Jessica Jones, great investigator, boots on the ground female. Have a lot of respect for her. Uh,
Casey
we
Miller.
have Red Dirt Casey Miller, Red Dirt Cryptid, uh, DA, Robbie Rains. All these guys are boots on the ground, but they are also investigators. If you
Right.
cannot do both on your channel, and this is probably going to piss somebody off, but if you're not going in the woods investigating and you're just reporting what you're hearing, you're pretty much setting yourself up to be like the National Enquirer. You're going to be spreading
Exactly.
false stories. A person that does both, reports and investigates, is called investigative journalism. That's where you go out and you prove the evidence and prove that the story has statue. Now, I mean, I think it was a very childish thing to do. I will never do that to my viewers over here. I respect my viewers over here. I love my viewers over here. I love spending time with you guys, and you will never hear me personally attack you or your family or your culture. We may not believe the same way, but you're a human being, and everybody deserves to be treated with respect. And Kirk, you can. That's I better stop there because I get heated when it comes to family.
Okay, I'm just going to say this. A particular channel that he mentioned that had to live last night badmouth anybody that goes out in the woods. Well, I'm going to tell you, I've been out in the woods a hell of a lot. Quite frankly, I have a database of over 900 cases. I've personally investigated over 300 of them. I've been as far west as Colorado Springs, Colorado, Palmyra, Maine, and the Florida Everglades. Okay, you cannot just take people's words. You get a report, you go out, you look. You have to look for three things. Number one, opportunity. Number two, motive. Okay, is this person telling the truth? If they're not telling the truth, what would be their motive for lying? Um, Opportunity always comes in. So it's important to be boots on the ground. True, it's important to keep a database, but that database is useless unless you have boots on the ground, and your database comes from boots on the ground. So anybody that does not go out and do boots on the ground is nothing more than the National Enquirer. I have no problem if this man would ever want to go out with me on an investigation. I would be more than happy to take him. But unfortunately, I don't see this man ever leaving the city simply because of the type of person that he is and his little sidekick. I don't see him ever leaving the city either, simply because, once more, the type of person they are. What we do is not an easy job. It is hard. It is hard finding this stuff. You have to have a good database to know where to go out. You have to go out maybe 100 times, shall we say, to have one encounter. And you just keep hitting and hitting and hitting these areas, and these encounters will happen. And quite frankly, once you've hit an area and you've had an encounter, it's not uncommon for the next encounter to happen a lot quicker because, number one, either they want you out of there, or number two, they're starting to feel, shall we say, a little more comfortable with you, that you are not hurting them. And if it's that they don't want you there, at that point in time, you're going to see them all the time because they're going to try to run your ass out of that area. So boots on the ground is very important. Let's face it, this country was founded by rough men that did boots on the ground. That's all I got to say. Cal, I'll turn this over to you, brother.
Well, it's going to be simple what I'm going to say. He talks a good game, but you don't you never see him post a video where he is in the woods. He's doing boots on the ground or anything. He don't have no stories of what he has investigated and evidence he has collected himself. And another thing about these piece of shit backwood Kentucky people, he better hope and pray to his God that he don't run into me and my boys in the woods ever, because he'd have a new learning experience.
Like I
And
say, teach him how to be a Southern gentleman.
oh yeah,
And Mr. Berger just said something. I seen Mr. Berger was in the chat last night. Well, my name was actually mentioned in the chat, Mr. Berger, and I saw you in that chat last night. Uh, I was alerted, and it was weird to me how I was alerted because the people that alerted me were not just my subscribers; they were his, and they were telling me we're leaving. He stomped on us, we do this, and if he thinks that of us, we're not going to support him. It got really bad. And I was like, what is going on? And I get up and all I've got is emails. So I start forwarding emails to Kurt because Cal was sick. And all we had was emails full of timestamps. Look what he's doing. Look what he's doing. Look how stupid he's
Yep,
being. Look at this. Look at this. And I was like, it had to be something big to get that many emails. It had to be big. And it ended up
yeah,
being, well, I
and
watched it and it looked like a child throwing a tantrum to me. It
exactly
was,
that's what it was.
it was,
And
well, what
Peter,
did
you know,
he say?
Peter, I would like to say you are correct. It is people like that that hold back the research in this field.
yeah, I mean, some people just aren't physically able to go climb the ridges and do the work. I understand that, but don't run the ones down that do it.
Right.
Right.
I have a very, very good friend. I'll just use his first name, Troy. Troy has more physical challenges than probably 90% of the people in the country. But yet, you know what? Troy is out there. He's hiking. He's back in the woods. He's looking. Troy and I are actually, the 1st of July, we're going out. Uh, I expect to probably put in 10 miles that day. We'll take a day off and then we're going to a second area where we'll put in a couple days. Both areas are very known hot spots. The second area is actually one where not only have there been Bigfoot spotted, there's been Bigfoot tracks cast, there's been Dogman tracks spotted, but there's also been feral people tracks spotted.
You know, another thing too is it just it's just ignorant to me to you know I was a field training officer, and that takes a lot of extra training to be able to do that. And I'll tell you exactly, if you go to school and you do everything on the streets how you're taught in school to do it and by the book, you will never make it. You go to
Exactly.
school and
You
you get
learn
the
on the job.
basics. And when you come to work, we tell every new recruit, you went to school and got the basics. Now we're going to show you how it really works.
You improvise and you overcome.
So, yeah. Um, I just, when you start attacking people personally and their families, I just think that's sick. Um, but, anyways, I go out hundreds of times. I've had people say, how come you don't have a video out of an encounter? Well, I go out hundreds of times, but I don't always get an encounter. I wish I did, but encounters don't happen every time. It takes a lot of work.
That's right.
Uh, Urso says usually when someone talks shit, there's a deep seated resentment, usually because you got something the cat or jealousy takes. Yeah, it's true. Jealousy takes over. Did Mr. Berger leave
Exactly.
after I was talking to him? Did he leave?
I believe
Uh,
so.
I believe he did. He ain't said nothing in a while.
Imagine that. But
Said look up the paranormal roundtable.
well, he was in the conversation last night,
Correct.
and
I bet it was
so
he talking.
yeah, and then he jumps over here and then wanting us to look at paranormal roundtable. Sounds like a shit stirrer to me.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
anyways, just an opinion. Uh, let's move on with the show, guys. We've given this
I agree.
this child too much time. Uh,
Yeah.
I heard something yesterday in the interview with Red Dirt Cryptid that really made me start thinking, and I liked what he said. You notice how he said they might have a new tactic as far as breaking a stick and getting a response. I thought that was pretty neat because he said all they done was break a stick and it pushed a whole tree over. So there was some kind of a communication there.
Yep.
I was reading, make sure we don't miss no questions too.
As I told you about 5 years ago, I'm sorry, 4 years ago, Hank and I were about 300 yards behind his house. And literally, we had a wild cherry pushed over up the hill at us.
Wow, wow.
Sherry, I'm
Sherry,
sorry I didn't see your question. If you could please retype it.
yeah, I didn't see it either. Sherry, hey Susan, yeah, my boys they love going to the lake. Susan, we have a ball down there. They're talking about the new short that I done for tonight. Did you see how I done it, guys?
No,
I
I
put
did
Yeah.
not.
I put Bigfoot behind me in the trees while I
Yeah.
was
You
talking
said.
about it.
You
Everybody
said. I
said
believe
that
there's
was
something behind me.
yeah. Everybody said that was freaky. I'm trying a new drink tonight, guys. They're not a sponsor, but it's a Dr Pepper no sugar. I think I like it better than I do the diet. Okay, here we go. We got a question here. I caught that one. Do you think cryptids create egregores or throughout the forms to take the persona and manifest, protect the cryptids, or give intel? Well, to break that down, um, I think that they are intelligent. I believe that they do communicate with each other, and I also believe that they know that they can't be seen by humans. That humans pose a risk to them, and they know that if they're spotted, they're going to be talked about. And I think they know, if they just out blatantly murder somebody, they're going to be hunted. I think they know these things.
Well, I can tell you they definitely communicate. Many people that I know have heard them talk back and forth. At times, it sounds like a foreign language, almost like Japanese. Some say it's such as
Samurai.
samurai chatter.
Yep. Samurai
But
chatter.
they do definitely communicate with each other. And when you have one on one side of you and one on the other side of you, and they're talking back and forth, it's a damn scary feeling. I'll tell you that right now.
Right. Do you think there's dogmen out there? Dogman study says you think that are taller than 12 foot.
I've never seen one. I've never heard of one being that tall, but it's
I have
possible.
heard, I have heard of a 15-footer. I am very skeptical of that report because at the same time that report was taken, there were several others in the area that saw that dog man and they put it at 12 foot. And I'm much more inclined to believe the 12 foot. The majority of all of them that I have encountered or anybody on my team has encountered have all been around the 7 to 8 foot height.
Right. Tanusha says, question, have any of you had a Wendigo sighting? Far as I understand, a Wendigo is the same thing as a Bigfoot, pretty much how the natives described it to me. It's just another name.
Uh, no, No, a Wendigo is actually closer to a shapeshifter.
Yeah.
Uh, a Wendigo is a very, very bad creature. And yes, we did encounter one. No, I don't ever want to encounter another one. And we didn't even have a close interaction with it. Fortunately, it was probably 300 yards away.
Wow. Um,
I'm
how often are
I've never
paranormal things
encountered one.
accompanied? I think the guesstimation by everybody is approximately 25% of
Correct.
paranormal will result in a cryptid will result in a paranormal experience.
Correct. And that's pretty much the same thing we have documented down here.
Uh, you know, people ask, like some of the questions that were sent in. Uh, how do you keep your campsite safe? Was a big question that was sent in quite a few times.
Cal, you want to answer this one?
Okay, what we do is we put up an early detection system. It's shoots out an infrared. There's little bitty boxes, and when you break the beam, they squeal, whistle, and stuff, and go on. That will scare them off. We always make sure the campfire is lit. It's kind of burning bright, and we always keep someone. We do it in well, we do it, you know, in groups. We got one guy's up, four guys down. When that guy gets ready, he comes in. Another guy takes shift over. That way, everybody gets the same amount of sleep and everybody stays safe.
Now, for me to answer this one, quite frankly, the majority of the time I don't worry about it. Yes, we have had Sasquatch come in through the camp. We've had Dogman within 30 foot of the camp. As I said before, I was had my right leg slam dunked by a juvenile Bigfoot, or at least I'm assuming it was a juvenile. It caused permanent injury. I still suffer from that. But for the most part, when they come in, they're more curious than they are looking to hurt you.
Just
And
wanted
that
to
is
hug.
one thing. Yeah, that is one thing that you can play off of occasionally is their curiosity, and you can actually call them in doing certain things. Uh, they'll come in and they'll look around. And another thing, some of these finding cryptid shows, with Bigfoot and other stuff, they do different things. One of the things that we proved out about 4 years ago, I actually saw a show last year, I believe it was, where they used ape pheromones to try to draw Bigfoot in, and they sprayed a gallon and a half of it over a 10-acre plot. Well, a great ape, even a silverback gorilla, only produces about 20 grams of pheromones a day. Okay, 20 grams isn't a whole lot. If within a 10-minute time you spray a gallon and a half of pheromones over a 10-acre plot, you've just, in essence, said to Bigfoot, hey, we just invaded this area with 100,000. You're not going to call Bigfoot in. You're going to scare his ass off. And we pretty well proved that out. And when I saw them do that on that TV show, I just laughed my ass off because I knew what the results were going to be. And lo and behold, they didn't have any encounters. They didn't have any noise even that night.
Right. Yeah. I agree. You can't make it look like there's a whole posse in the woods and expect a couple of Bigfoot to go check it out.
Exactly.
Uh, YouTube's not sending our notifications out again either right now. So
That doesn't surprise me. Hi, Grape Ape.
yeah. But and one of the things that we do, this is what I do whenever I take the kids out and we, set up a camp. I have some 22 and 12 gauge tripwires. I will set a
Yep.
perimeter out around my camp. I have motion detector work lights. I will set those in various trees around my camp to where if you come in, they're going to light you up. I use infrared cameras that are sensor activated. Um, I can look at it all on my cell phone by laying in my tent, see what's going on around me.
Where's your
Uh,
sense of adventure?
well,
What
I
the
want
hell?
to
You
go.
only die once.
Yeah, I want to go home. I don't want to be the guy in the sleeping bag that's slowly getting pulled out the end. Listen,
You only
it's
die once. I mean, what the hell?
well, it's not the death that scares me. It's how I'm going to get there. It is what's going to happen in between then and there.
I can tell you it hurts. Yeah, it is definitely not fun.
You said that at the wrong time.
I know.
That came out bad. But yeah, Kirk's gonna need therapy now, guys. So if for every dollar y'all send in, Calvin's gonna do jumping jacks. But no, it's just. But yeah, whenever we go down there, I make very sure that
Thank you, Mary.
that we're safe. Safety's my number one concern. But sometimes, and thank you very much, Mary. That is very nice of you. Sometimes also too, Kirk, is I've a lot of people may not even think about this, but camp safety is not only securing your camp, it is making sure that the people you have with you have proper gun safety.
Yep.
Because I've had a barrel in my face before, and people swinging guns around, and I'm more afraid of getting shot sometimes by them than I am, getting tore apart in the woods or worse. Well, some people probably wouldn't mind, but I don't want that happening to me. And I just, I'll tell you another thing I carry too, and I don't know if a lot of you carry it. I've got little firecrackers.
Yep.
You don't have to light them. You can just throw them down, and they're really loud.
Yeah, the
Those
snap.
work. Yeah, except for they're the red ones. Look like a firecracker.
Yeah.
They work great for bobcat stuff like that. It'll clear the woods. I don't know about Bigfoot. You might throw it down, he might grab you, but they'll work good for stuff like that. Also, Kurt, you brought this up, so I'll let you talk about this: food and disposal of food and cook times.
Okay. Number one, Bigfoot and Dogman both are carnivores for the most part. They will eat anything, but they prefer meat. Meat cooking, especially slow cooking, is always going to bring a response from cryptids. You may not see them, but they'll be on the outskirts of your camp. They'll be looking at what you're doing. Hell, the one time at one particular site, I brought my smoker. I smoked a brisket. We went for a short ATV ride while the brisket was cooling off. I take my brisket up to 205 degrees, wait till it gets back down to 165 before I slice it. During that short ride, it was gone. The smoker was opened, and it was gone. To open that smoker takes something with hands. Hank stood there and said, "What the hell took this?"
Yeah.
Well, what has hands in the woods? A person. Okay, except there was nobody for 5 miles within. So that leaves you a Bigfoot, a Dogman, The ground was very, very hard. It's a rocky surface where that happened at. So I can't tell you what it was. It left absolutely no tracks, but I just know that that 7 pound brisket was gone.
Well, if I'd been there, I
You
would
know,
have
and
took the
another
blame.
thing is,
Yeah, you would have left the tracks. But
Cal would have
one
said, "I'm going to
thing,
stay back and guard the food."
and several other times that I've cooked brisket out, and a couple times I've cooked pork shoulder out. I trim these before I cook them. They will literally be several pounds of fat and meat cut off. I throw it in a pile outside of the camp. Now, where we are, there are bobcat, there are coyotes, there are raccoons, there are foxes. But yet, in that area, those piles are never touched. I literally went back after we did that one weekend. The next weekend, that pile was still there. Even the damn bugs were not touching it. Why?
Well, I guess because like Bigfoot or maybe a dog man, some kind of cryptid came in and got the brisket. They definitely are around. They walk around the raw meat and stuff, so ain't nothing gonna touch it because of the scent.
Yep, exactly right. And that's exactly what it was. And the funny thing is, when we have an encounter down there, you don't even have to worry about bugs. The times that we go down there and there are bugs out, then, nothing's around.
Right.
There's been times that we've went down to the one
And
area
also,
that it Belinda, you wouldn't have to put a suit on. You're more than welcome anytime.
and also, Kirk and Cal, what about disposal of food? That's just as important, right?
And
We
that is
we put
100% as important.
what we do is we take a garbage bag along with us. We put everything in the trash bag. We dig a pit, put it in, throw some lye over the trash bag, and bury it.
Right. And one of the important parts is the lye to help it decompose quickly.
Yep.
Where do y'all store your food? Do you just leave it in your ice chest? Is that pretty much?
Yeah.
I keep mine in the ice chest, very well packed, and I actually keep that in the back of the Jeep with the Jeep closed. I figure, it's a hard top. If something wants in, it's going to have to literally break in, either break through the glass or somehow open one of the doors or the hatch.
We always leave ours down and like just
Hey
according to what
guys,
county,
if
just according to what
Tanisha,
county we're in, we
hey
will
guys, if you
Tan-
buy
haven't
it
hit the
for
like,
free.
Tanisha, you are very right. If you don't dispose of it properly, they can and will see it as gifting. And that's why I say the lye on it, or actually even lime on it, either
Yeah.
one will kind of do away with that. If you just bury the food and don't
right.
bury it deep enough, yeah, they are going to see it as gifting. They are going to dig it up. They are going to eat it.
Well, that's you can always after you bury it is see how I can put this, relieve yourself onto it.
As
I
much as
wonder if
I
that
hate
would.
to say this, Cal, we actually have done that before with mixed results.
You've had mixed results. I
Yeah,
mean,
I wonder if that would piss them off.
I don't know if they're pissed off and pissed on, because that's what we do. We'll piss all over, the burial site there,
Yeah.
and but we never went back 2 or 3 days later and see if anything dug it up either.
Yeah, see, that's one thing that we will do quite often is go back. I guess that's part of our research is we go back and look for evidence, because like I say, a lot of times these things will actually be at the edge of the woods, just far enough in that you can't see them, but they can see you. They're watching whatever you're doing. They wait for you to just pull out. As soon as you pull out, them some bitches are literally right there. And we've actually pulled out. Oh, we got 10 minutes away, went back, and damned if that wasn't dug up already and the food gone. The trimming's gone.
Well, I know
Wow.
we
I'll be
we
right
did a
back.
little experiment. Okay, we did a little experiment that where we took and we laid out some peanut butter on crackers,
Yeah.
some trail mix, and a ham and cheese sandwich. Okay, and then beside it, we opened up the bag of an MRE.
Uh
Okay,
huh.
and I be damned, bastards didn't take everything and left the MRE.
Does that surprise you? I
Why
mean,
hell
I
no?
know you've eaten them,
Hell, I eat them. I eat them still today.
Right.
but
And
I'll
I'd
tell
like to ask
you,
everybody in the chat if they have not hit the like button, smash that like button. Share us out to at least one friend. It'll raise the algorithm. People aren't getting notified. So if y'all will smash that like button, share us out, even if it's to your
share us,
Facebook
please.
page, anywhere, that will raise the Yes, it will raise the algorithm. It will show us share. It doesn't matter if they
Yeah,
come to the live tonight. They will see the engagement and the share. So share us out to somebody. Hit the like button. Let's get our
very
notifications out
important.
there, guys, so people aren't missing us.
I appreciate it, everyone. Please. Now, another thing that we had happen,
Brandy
Cal,
says you're
we
making her
actually,
hungry.
like I said, anybody that comes on an investigation will be fed and will be fed well. Uh, Another thing we had happen one particular weekend, the first day we were there, we had one trailer that was brought with us. A couple members of the team were sleeping in the trailer. Something hit the trailer, left no tracks. There was nothing around the trailer, but yet both the couple was in the trailer and it smacked the trailer hard, whatever it was. We had absolutely nothing more happen that entire weekend, other than we did find Bigfoot tracks, Dogman tracks. We literally, come Sunday afternoon, we left. We got, I'm going to say, maybe a mile down the road. What do you think we saw? There was Dogman standing right beside the damn road staring at us like it was waiting for us to go by. As soon as we went by, it just turned around and nonchalantly walked back.
Well, yeah, dinner served.
Yep, yep. They were watching. They knew what was going on. These creatures are intelligent.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, they're very intelligent, and
Now the
and
only
even when it comes down to it, they're tactical as hell.
Yep. The only thing I will say that leads me to question their intelligence any is at certain times the food that they eat. I mean, they eat the intestines of animals.
Yep.
I'm going to pass on that.
Well, on some of the intestines and organs, I'll pass on.
Brandy, I actually on the paranormal, I'll listen to a little bit of it if it was a cryptid involved with it. I just don't
Right.
get into the to the just straight paranormal. I think that it can go dark, can cause a lot of bad things to happen.
Very much so.
Uh, but yeah, everybody's sharing us out. I can see now that our numbers have went up.
Yeah, Jim
So
Elf said,
that
if you leave a couple of $20 bills beside the food and they leave the money alone, you know it was not a person. Yeah, Jim,
That
that's right.
is a
You'll
very good point. We've never tried that, but
I haven't
I
either.
very well might.
and another thing too, I think it's funny. I tried to throw Belinda up, but when I tried to throw Belinda up, I just got kicked from chat and had to come back. Belinda was making fun of the other channel. I think she said, "Mike, why don't you bribe us to make us hit the like?" So if y'all will smash the like right now, uh, Kirk will take out his glass eye and suck on it.
Ooh.
No, I don't have a glass eye, but
Not yet.
not yet.
Oh man, that's funny though. I like how she said that. That was funny. Uh, what about a fire at your camp? I think a fire is very important.
Yeah,
Very much so.
we keep one blazing. You keep a fire blazing up real good and high, so it's good and
I,
bright.
one of the cases that I investigated actually happened in Michigan. Two guys were camping. They, shall we say, lived the alternate lifestyle. Um, they were camping. They had a dog man come in. The dog man had, shall we call it, ill intentions for them.
Oh yeah.
They, yeah, they did not fare real well, but the one was able to grab a burning log out of the fire and actually smack the dog man with it
Mhm.
across the
Dang.
face, and it gave him just enough time to get away. No, Peter, I don't have a glass eye.
That's why I was laughing. I was trying not to laugh. I read that, and
Yeah,
I was cracking up.
but yeah, but them being
Now
able to
honestly, I
smack
think
that dog man in the face with that burning log gave them just enough time to get away. They actually went to the closest hospital, had to be treated. Law enforcement was involved, and it was ruled a bear.
Yeah, Tamara, yeah. Dogmen and Bigfoot
oh yeah,
both are afraid of fire. They 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 don't concept what it is, so yeah, they're kind of afraid of it.
I'm gonna go out
And
on a
I'll
limb
go
and
out
say
on
that
a limb with Mike.
I
Yes,
think some Bigfoot make fires. The Lakota
yes,
and Dakota said
yeah,
that
we'll
they have
see.
found fire like small fire pits, but I think like what Cal's saying, the larger fires, they're not.
They're
They don't
afraid
want
of them.
nothing to do with that because it signifies it's uncontrollable to them. It's too large.
right,
Of course,
right.
if
And
if you're walking around with a fur coat on, you're going to be scared of a match too.
yeah, and we have found
Yeah,
a couple fire pits here in Pennsylvania also that were associated with Bigfoot simply because a 19-inch track was found right beside the fire pit.
Oh
Yeah,
man, this guy
exactly,
right here
Heather.
is going
Them
to get
damn
us a
bears
debate
are
going.
everywhere.
okay, Dogman Study and News
Here's a debate.
asked, if needed, what caliber handguns should you have when you go solo camping, just in case you have to use it against a Sasquatch or Dogman? Man, what
R-
caliber would be best
RPG.
handgun work? Well, nothing below a 44 Magnum.
RPG.
Well, not
You know,
everybody
I've
has
even heard of some.
access to RPGs.
I know, but
I've I've heard people say 357 is adequate. You know, there's a lot of people carry those.
Yeah,
357
I
will actually do the job. It all comes down to shot placement.
yeah,
45 ACP with proper shot placement will do the
yeah.
job. If you're not
Well,
proficient, if you're not proficient in shot placement, nothing smaller than a 44 mag though.
yeah.
454 Cassell is very good.
Uh,
460, 500 S&W.
Great Ape said Desert Eagle. What caliber
uh
and model of Desert Eagle
actually
8?
Wizard Moon, you actually would not want hollow points for that.
No,
No, you want
you
solid.
hard
You're not
cast.
going to get.
Yeah, you want solids. You don't want
Yeah, you
hollows.
won't get the
That's right.
penetration.
That's right. You want hard cast. Preferably, if you're using a 45, go with Buffalo Bore.
Yep.
Ah, Lord, Emmy. What can I say? But yeah, everybody, if you're
Yeah,
going out,
Full Metal Jacket.
Full Metal Jacket's good, but like I say, when you're in the questionable calibers, 357 Magnum or 45, please go with a Buffalo Bore. They are hard cast and they are a plus.
Yep.
Tamara, I can maybe answer that. Let's face it, as you and I are working, these damn things, their only work is to stay alive. They are out in the field on their feet all day, every day. Uh, in doing that, they develop muscle much like a sprinter and like a weightlifter. So they are going to be very fast. They're going to be very strong. And it's not uncommon for them to have to move fallen trees and at times break trees down to get to food.
Oh. Brandy said a Barrett 50 cal. They said, Mike, you're muted.
There we
What's
go.
that?
What about Firewatch? Have a guy up all night.
Yeah,
Firewatch. Well, that's what we called it. Was
we always
Firewatch.
do. Yeah, we always do.
Correct.
Because I mean, you don't want to wake up dead. That's the main objective.
Yeah,
Well, quite frankly, on the other hand, if you do wake up dead, you're going to be in a good spot probably. If you lived your life right and you accepted Jesus as your savior.
Like again, though, it's the point of getting to the death. Though I mean, you may wake up drowning in your own blood,
Brooks
It's
said,
or
so
possible.
you guys shoot them
worse.
at what part of the body? Brooks, yeah, well, you try to just according like Kurt said, it's all about shot placement. If you go to shoot them in the head, you want to aim for the eye socket and like a chest. If you're going center mass, you better have something that's going to penetrate the bone because of the density of the bone in the chest. You can aim
And
below the
always
ribs.
remember, aim small, miss small.
Yep, aim small, miss small. You can aim just below the ribs and get penetration, but unless you're packing something, with some thump to it, it's going to be hard to get penetration through the ribs and through the skull unless it's in the eye socket.
Yep, and I will just say for close encounters, A 12 gauge with hard cast slugs works
Yep.
very good.
I don't carry a. I carry a shotgun with me for backup, but I carry it. I carry combat bat. You know, it's slug, tripwire buck slug. But that's not my primary weapon. Is I've got a 458 SOCOM,
Yep,
and then on my sidearm I carry a Smith and Wesson 500.
very good choice.
Oh yeah, I haven't lost nobody yet.
Well, thank God I haven't either. So,
I got a story I was going to share with everybody that happened when I was younger. Uh, I wrote it down last night, decided to share it, get your all's opinions on what you think this was. We lived out in the country, and I was probably 12 or 13, and my mom would walk every evening. And I'm hearing that TV noise again. Are y'all hearing that now?
Yeah, yeah, I'm hearing it.
no,
Make sure you don't get hacked again, Kurt.
yeah, so far nothing. Brooks, to a point, you are correct, but you want to shoot them in the face, not necessarily the head. And if they're pointed away from you, the base of the skull is the best place to shoot them. Of course, your sight picture is very small. It takes either a very lucky shot or a very skilled individual. Mike, you okay?
You're muted, Mike.
Mike, we lost you, brother.
We can't hear you.
Can't hear a word you're saying, brother.
Something weird just went on. Is that better?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yeah, we can hear you.
I was getting a really bad back feed. It sounded like a TV was on, and I removed my headpiece. It got so loud it actually started hurting my ears.
Wow, there's no noise here whatsoever, and no, I'm not being hacked.
Okay. The story I was going to tell y'all comes from when I was about 12 or 13. We lived in the country, and my mom would walk in the evenings, and I had my little sister, which she was about 5 at the time, or maybe younger, and she would push her in a stroller, and we would walk. Well, I sent you that pin drop the other day, Kirk, after where I told you where that creek is, where I had my first encounter.
Right.
We would walk that. Well, something was following us in the ditch, and we could hear it grunting, making weird noises, the whole way.
Right.
Mom was like, just ignore it. Let's just get home. Just ignore it. Let's just get home. So we got home, and we decided the next day we would go a little earlier, not go as late in the evening. So we
Right,
walked
sure.
again, and we found a body laying in like the ditch over by the field. This body looked like a goat body, like a baby goat, probably 3 foot tall, 3 foot long. The head
Right.
was gone, but the weird thing was its feet and hands on this goat body were not hooves. They looked like possum feet or little bitty
Really?
like hands.
Wow.
Really?
And we called the game. Yeah, we called the game warden, and he came out and he looked at it and he said, "Well, I'm not sure what that is." And he threw it in the back of his truck and he tagged it. And he said, "I'll take this in. We'll figure out what it is, and we'll get back to you." Last words we ever heard.
Exactly.
Was it the last time you called the game wardens?
Oh yeah, we called him like every 3 4 days, and it was always, it was processing.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then somehow it got misplaced and we lost the results.
Yeah, we lost the
Yeah, we
results.
yeah we finally just gave up calling because it was the same thing, and then they would always say
Sure.
we'll have we'll send a message to the officer and he'll call you back, and it just got to the point
Yeah.
where we're not going to mess with it.
Yep.
Yep.
And that's what they do. That is their MO. They put you off and put you off until you lose interest and just give up. And if you file a Freedom of Information Act disclosure document, gee, we don't know what you're talking about.
Yep.
Evidently, we lost that.
My uncle, now this kind of goes along with the story. He was sitting at my granny's house, right? And while he was sitting in the front room, the back door was cracked open because we didn't have air conditioning, and it had got nighttime. They were visiting, and he noticed like it looked like a weed that was growing beside the porch was blowing inside of the door. And he told Granny, he said, "We need to shut the door. The wind's picking up, probably going to storm, and we need to lock it because it's nighttime, anyways." So
Right.
he walks back to the back room, and he notices it's not a weed. It's a possum-looking hand like I seen, but about that long. It was fingers reaching inside of the door, and
Yep.
it was grabbing Granny's canned fruit. It was grabbing the canned fruit, and he grabbed the mop that was back there and started smashing the hand inside of the door, and then slammed the door. And when he slammed the door, it pushed back on the door and then took off. It was grabbing food.
As I said before, there are so many different things out there that we don't know. And, it's hard to dispel anybody's story of what they've been through because, quite frankly, there is so much stuff out there. And it seems like every day you're hearing more and more of new things.
Right. It's when they're reaching their hand in your house, that's scary.
And Heather, yeah, you're right. You are better off handling it yourself. And
Yeah.
should anybody say anything, well, it was a bear. And yeah, it ran off toward the game warden station.
It's what if a little kid walks past that door? Doesn't decide
Exactly.
it doesn't want it doesn't want fruit no more? Hunter, tell him to kill that.
Brandy, you are correct until enough of us get together and start demanding, and I mean demanding, answers. The government's never going to do anything. Look at the UFO phenomenon. You have millions of people that demand that the government come out with the truth behind it. Tell us what they know, whether they're real, whether they're fake, whether they're actually government secret projects. Doesn't matter. Tell us what they are. Tell us the truth.
Um, Another thing, I'll give you uh, a good example of their uh, intelligence. We went fishing one night, and we were fishing down where Red Dirt Cryptid got those casts and stuff.
Right.
I pin dropped that for him to go investigate it. And while we're fishing, my brother-in-law decides he's going to go probably 150 yards down from us on the lake, where it goes out into like a point, and fish off the point. So he takes his lantern, sets his lantern up and everything. We're fishing. It was a slow night. We wasn't catching a lot of fish. So he decides he's going to walk back up to where we're at and see, how we're doing. Are we catching anything? What's going on? Well, while we're sitting there, we hear this back in the tree line, back behind us, and back behind where he was at. We start hearing whistling. Then we start hearing a cow, a little kitten. We start hearing like little kids laughing and playing.
Sure,
And
it
then
was trying to bring.
we look over and we see it walking through the trees because it's a full moon. It walks up to where my brother-in-law was sitting. You can watch it. It reaches down. It grabs his sandwich that he was eating, reaches over, and turns his lantern completely off.
Yep.
And then walks back into the woods. Doesn't
Yep.
take nothing, doesn't break nothing, but it knew how to turn that lantern off.
Yep. I've got a good friend, Christy, that is a Sasquatch researcher from Louisiana, and she actually claims that these are the first people. These are definitely humans. These are, even though they're not the same as us, they are humans, and they were here before us. She brings up some valid points, but that's for everybody to decide on their own.
They had followed us. My mom and I and my dad had bought a house. It was about a half a mile from my granny's house, and the only thing separating our houses was a bunch of hills and woods. And of course,
Right.
we had an old 2-lane road in the country. Well, whatever it was following mom, back and forth from our house to Granny's house whenever she would stay and take care of her mom. One night it was at the house, and we were looking for it, me and my cousin. So we're walking in the yard along the wood line, and my mom starts yelling, "There it is, there it is, there it is." We're looking, we don't see nothing. And whenever we finally get back up to the porch, mom's like, "I don't know how you guys didn't see that." And I was like, "What do you mean?" She said,
Yes, Sheldon.
"We're walking one way, and it was walking the other way, and it walked right past you in that wood line." She said it was about 3 feet from you. We never seen it or heard it.
Sheldon, yes, we have heard the clicking and popping. Couple different times, and quite frankly, I have no clue what it is.
It was just we never saw it. Never did.
Right.
What was it? I have no idea. None. But we weren't able to see it.
Mike, I have a very good friend, very dear friend. Her and her father were actually ran out of the woods by something when they were back deer hunting. And even though they had their deer rifles with them, they didn't feel safe. They never saw it, but they could hear it and they heard it tracking them just inside the wood line, following them. And, don't ask me why, but they just got the feeling they were not safe, even with those guns. And they literally had to get the hell out of there. And as I always tell people, go with your gut instinct, because 98% of the time it is correct. If you don't feel safe, you're not.
And I think there's a chance that you're being hunted. I'm trying to fix this real quick. I'm getting my messenger's blowing up, and I'm getting sounds over into the computer. Hold on one second.
Yeah, I keep hearing your notifications going off.
Yeah, it's driving me crazy. 1 second. We should be able to take care of that. Hopefully that'll take care of it. But yeah, I think that if you feel like you're being hunted, you probably are being hunted.
Yep.
I'm like what you said. Listen to your feelings.
Exactly.
Brandy says we have a sixth sense for a reason. Native Americans can walk through woods no sound, and I think learn that side by side with other things to avoid detection. Yeah, they actually studied the woods. They studied the animals in the woods, how they hunted, how
Yep.
they moved, how they
Yep.
ambushed, how they hid.
Exactly right.
It's it's amazing how these things can actually move. They used to sit in my granny's trees and watch through the windows, crawl on top of the house, reach over and knock on the windows, knock on the door. That's it's scary when you're there when it's happening.
Yeah, the whistles, they're, quite frankly, they're nerve-wracking, especially if you understand. In Kentucky, there is, around the Mammoth Cave area, there is a group of Bigfoot that is known as Kentucky Whistlers. That's actually how they communicate back and forth with each other, is to whistle.
Ghost Eagle says we taught young on how to walk in the woods and to be silent.
I was too.
The past deer season, I heard what sounded like two metal poles slapping together. I was in a remote area. I felt a presence before. I promptly got out of the tree and hiked back to my truck. Probably a really good thing to do that.
That was probably a smart thing to do, Harold.
They're comparing it to a dog whistle, maybe?
It's actually closer to what a human whistles. If you were to, and I can't do it anymore because of the dental problem I'm going through right now, but if you were to use your two fingers in your mouth and whistle a loud whistle, that's much what it sounds like. All the owls are very much prevalent. And they're not an owl because a lot of times at the end of the hoot, they'll go into the samurai chatter.
There's a little girl that I talked to the other night that had an investigative team down there with her. And she went out investigating on her own, where she was hearing hoot owls that weren't hoot owls.
Right.
And she had a very bad encounter. And I told her, do not go back there alone. Don't do that.
Right.
That's not. We don't want anybody to get hurt.
And,
I had a friend.
Unfortunately, I do the same thing at times, but what can I say?
And I'm not saying anything against females either, but females may be more attracted to females than it is males.
Correct.
And if it was attracted to males, then we may have some that would be more boots on the ground. I don't know. But
if they're not doing a Friday night podcast.
Yeah. I had a friend. He was deer hunting in a very well-known Sasquatch area. Because, we are boots on the ground, so we knew it was a Sasquatch area.
Right.
I'd been handling shit all day. so I knew they was down there. So he went down there to put his deer stand up in the tree, and he's like, it felt bad, it felt evil, but man, there was a lot of deer track. I just couldn't help myself. I put my deer stand up and was like, I'm going to do it.
Been there, done that.
Well, he went back the next morning. There's a chicken head cut off, stuck to the tree, eye level with him, where his steps go up into the tree, right? The rest of the chicken smeared the blood all over his tree, all over his stand, and then took the chicken. And I don't know if a lot of people know this, but a lot of us hunters, we have a rope that hangs down from our tree where we can pull our rifle up to us or our bow or whatever we're using. It tied the chicken to that string and left it hanging there. He left his deer stand. He said, I'm not going back to get it. I think that was a warning.
Yep, that was a warning. We actually, the one area that we were investigating in 2 years ago, Saturday night when we went to sleep, everything was fine. When we got up Sunday morning, packed up and started pulling out, lo and behold, the tree we had to go by on the way out, just to get on the road, right at the edge of the road, there was a raccoon skin hanging from it. The entire carcass was gone. The only thing left was the skin, and it was fresh skin. And it was about 12 foot up in the tree.
They're finding cows up in trees too.
Yep. Cows, bears, moose.
Thank you, Gary, for hitting the like button. And let's see, I'm Tanisha, 18 years old. Well done for joining our family. You're on to it, darling, I believe what he was saying. Thank you, Tanisha, if you joined our family and membership. Brandy says it was dying out the pelt for a reason.
We took it more as a warning. I looked around, could not find the carcass of it anywhere.
I had an encounter. I don't even know what it was. I told you about that green face we seen looking through the tree with the yellow eyes.
Right.
I'm going back to that location. Yes, I'm going to do it boots on the ground. And I'm interested in what is that thing. What do you think that is?
I'll be quite truthful with you. I really don't know. From what you described it as, it lends itself somewhat to being a rake, except the coloration on it's wrong. I'm at a loss on it.
I don't know what it is. I thought it was a big bullfrog.
Well,
and then I noticed its eyes were blinking. I measured the fork in the tree,
right,
just to try to get, just to get an idea of how tall it might have been. Now, from the ground to where the tree forked, because it looked at us like this through the tree, it was sitting like this.
Right.
And to the bottom of the fork was like 7 foot 2 inches. That's a big boy.
Yeah.
Big boy Troy.
Grape ape, there is a farmer that is local to one of my teammates that had 93 barn cats come up missing last year.
Sharon says the chicken was a warning, saying that could be you with your head cut off hanging in a tree. Absolutely.
Yep. Same with the raccoon. Maybe that could be my skin ripped off me.
Oh man, that would be terrible.
Yep. You do realize that the Cherokee at one point in time, when their most vicious punishments was to actually strip skin an individual.
Did you know I heard this last night? And you tell me if this is true, but we're probably going to get blocked after I talk about this. Because here we go. We're going down that hole, Kurt.
Let's go.
Right. There was a guy who made the comment to Macaulay Culkin, human skin makes the best leather, and he was wearing red shoes in a Red Shoes Club.
Imagine that.
But guess whose skin he said they was made out of?
That's hard to say.
The little girl that was the star in The Exorcist that died.
Well, you know, the only thing I can say is if we used his skin on something, we'd have a whole lot of it to make something out of.
You know that show would make it 10 minutes to start talking about that.
Yeah, that would be some big frog legs, Sharon. Yeah, you're right. If we did a show on that, it wouldn't last 10 minutes. They'd throw us off.
Grape Ape, I believe, is right. It might have been Poltergeist. I might have been mistaken. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not like on the other channel. I do make mistakes. But thank you, Grape Ape, for helping me. Yeah, Donald. Yeah, it was Poltergeist. It was Poltergeist. Well, Kurt, I'm going to have to. We're going to talk about a couple more things, and then I'm going to give Janice a warning before we go into our other subject. But you know where I'm going.
Yep.
Okay. This is a true story, and I'll talk about it now since it's been a few years since it happened. I don't think I'll hurt the family's feelings any. Y'all said you like stories. This is a story you don't want your kids in the room. There was a farmer that lived about 10 miles from me. His wife passed away. He started telling people that he was seeing Bigfoot in the woods.
Right.
Everybody started ridiculing him, saying that he lost his wife, that he should be having a breakdown. Didn't know what he was talking about. He was going through a hard time, and instead of people listening to him, they were judging him. And
yeah, unfortunately, that happens too much.
Yes. Well, he was reaching out for help, and people made fun of him. True story. They found his body in a road ditch. Okay? Now, we know a lot of things we've covered involve ditches. Brenda Hamilton. A lot of, of the other cases were ditches. This gentleman was found in the ditch, but the bad part is he was so shredded, Kurt. His body parts were hanging from the barbed wire fence. The birds were eating it.
Yep.
The ground was so saturated in blood that the county had to bring a dump truck and a front end loader and dig the soil up and remove it. They had to cut the fence down, remove the fence, because pieces of him were shredded into that fence.
Sure, but it was a bear that did it.
No, worse than that. You're going to roll your eyes at this one. Bobcat.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yep. They said he probably walked up on a bobcat with their baby.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Bobcat.
You know, my grandmother's next door neighbor used to raise bobcats.
Good night, Jim. It was good having you tonight.
Good night, Jim.
Yeah, it was a bobcat. I think it's accomplice with the squirrel. They said the squirrel later, though, had to be institutionalized because he went nuts.
Don't get me wrong, a bobcat can be formidable to a smaller animal, but yeah, no bobcat's going to do anything like that to a human.
Not just, they said, okay, this is what got me. This is what got me. His skull was crushed, and his brains were gone. They weren't in the soil or on the fence.
Yeah,
Everything else
Heather,
was there.
them damn bears with the bobcats riding on their back, exactly.
Yeah. No, it couldn't have been a Wolverine. We don't have
No,
Wolverine here in Oklahoma anyway, but they wouldn't. I don't think
no,
they could do that.
no.
But his
Keep in
one,
mind, a wolverine is a short to the ground animal. Okay. As far as getting it up on the fence, maybe it could kill a person, maybe not, but it would never be up on the fence. Okay, what should have happen is everything would be shredded, would be laying right on the ground.
the skull and eyeballs were missing, or the brain. I
Mm.
mean, the brain and eyeballs were missing. The skull was there. The skull was busted open.
Yeah, the eyeballs missing, that's not so much that uncommon when they find a human that's been out for any length of time because the birds will pick at the eyeballs. There's no doubt about that. But as far as the skull being broken open and the brain gone, very, very unlikely and very unnormal.
So whatever it wanted brains, I guess. I
Yep.
mean, it took the brain and
Yep.
just, shredded the body. I mean, they said it looked like somebody took a bloody rope and just wrapped it all down the fence. And you probably know what I'm talking about, what that
Yep,
was.
I do.
It was terrible. It was a terrible, terrible thing. And the ground, to be so saturated, they had to dig it up.
Yeah.
It just totally shredded him. I just hope he didn't feel it.
Well, at least they didn't blame it on wild dogs and start euthanizing every dog they could catch like they did in Kentucky.
Had to kill 7 dogs, 3 cats, and 2 cows to make sure.
Yeah. Why are they protecting these creatures? Follow the money. If the government admits that these things are real, that they are in national parks and state parks and such, and they've failed to do anything about them, then that makes them somewhat liable. Number one, you would not have people visiting those parks. That is a tremendous revenue stream that they would be losing. Number two, all the cryptid hunters, shall we say, are going to want to be out there. They're going to be shooting at whatever. They may not see a cryptid. They may hear a noise and they may fire. How many individuals, innocent individuals, are going to be wounded or killed over untrained hunters going after things when, gee, I just heard a noise?
I think we need to come up with a thing another channel's doing now when they do things. They have a safe word. Do you think we need a safe word?
Nah. No.
Uh,
Bobcat with a sledgehammer and wood chipper. Oh yeah. Let me guess. It rented the wood chipper from Sun Reynolds.
Yep.
The Bobcat
Janice.
put it on his credit card.
Janice, if you're in the audience, you may want to excuse yourself for this next conversation. It's something I know that she doesn't like. But we have to go there because I was contacted and he was contacted. Kirk and I were contacted by a witch. She says she's a witch.
Yep.
and the first thing she wanted to talk about was magic circles.
Yep.
What they do, why they like them, and why they would like to know where the circle is that me and Kirk have found. You know how many times people have reached out to me about the circle? It's ridiculous. Kirk even had somebody go through him to try to get where this circle is.
Right.
I don't know why she's so interested in this circle, but she even friended me, wanted me to join her TikTok. I mean, everything. And I'm just like, no. We're not doing that. We're not.
Nope. Cannot.
Me and Kirk decided we're going to give no airtime to anybody like that. That's
correct.
That's terrible. We do possibly, though, Kirk, may have a female co-host in the works, maybe, that
correct.
Hopefully will be joining us. The book thing, should we talk to them about the book a little bit? To get our book put out there is pretty much going to take all of our money.
Yep, exactly.
What does everybody think if I was to read the book, put it on a DVD? Would that be better than a book, or do you all would rather have a book? Just write in the comments, DVD or a book, and try to give us an idea of what y'all want. That way we can continue to at least work one way or the other.
Sure.
I want to do what the people want. You know, this channel.
Exactly.
I'm not going to sit there and say, this is what I'm doing, like it or lump it, you know.
Yeah, no, we're going to do what the people want us to do. I mean, do you want to be able to hear us narrate it, or do you want to have it in print to where you can read it?
Right. Donald Klein, we got DVD. We have one person that said book. We got another book. It's just there's another book. I think book is going to be the man. I got to fly. He is hell bent on trying to fly on my nose. I don't know if I should just eat him and be done with him or what. He's about to annoy me. So if y'all see me eat a fly here in a minute, you know that's what us hillbillies do.
Yeah, us hillbillies.
The DVD would probably be easier for me to add photos on a DVD than it would be for a book. If I add a lot of photos in a book, you're looking at a lot of extra money.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that we're actually looking at is, number one, if we do the book in print, it's going to be more expensive. Mike and I have to put up front money, which it's a lot of money, so that makes us have to sell a whole lot more to be able to get the information out there. If we go that way, then, you know, it may take longer to do it simply because we're going to have to raise more funds and able to do it with. Whereas if we go with the DVD, yeah, unfortunately, the pictures won't be there, but you will get the content of what the book would be written of.
Right. Exactly. You know, the reason I'm wanting to do the book, guys, is because I'm trying to make the funds to get a van to be able to outfit it, where I can go more boots on the ground, further locations, and then be able to expand our investigations. I am on the verge and very close to buying a night vision camera. So the funds that people's been sending on PayPal, the donations and all, we are almost to where we can get a night vision camera. You know how much that's going to change the video.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That will be a game changer, 100%. Quite frankly, good night vision cameras are not cheap, and I understand, money is always tight, especially in this economy. I do greatly appreciate everything that everybody sends in, and I can tell you 100% it's used for equipment to help the channel grow.
Hey, Lanita, could you send me a email, please?
Yes, please.
Because I've got a lot wrote. Now, I'm not no author either. I may need an author to go over, my writing.
Yeah.
But I've got at least my thoughts are, I'm getting my thoughts down anyway. But
right, and as I said, I've documented over 900 cases and physically investigated over 300. So I have a lot of good content.
And I'm not going to say who you work with, because I know some of the people that you work with, you want to remain anonymous. But Kirk has worked with some very famous people, and Kirk has been on excursions. Kirk just doesn't feel the need to brag about it. We've talked about it in detail, and he's been to several places. And quite frankly, his health is paying for an encounter he had. And I would love to read the book when you get it done. This guy here, Sheldon, says, I'm putting some stuff together now, fellas. I'll send it soon. I'm not a researcher, but I've experienced a few interesting things. Oh, yeah, we're always open to hearing.
Sure. And depending where it is and what it is, I have no qualms coming down or up, wherever it may be, and looking into it.
Oh, yeah, I mean, that's my whole deal with the van. There's some places around here that I really want to go to. Stay the night at, and one of those places is possibly around Camp Scott. So,
how did I know that?
It'd be scary as hell. Probably would want to take a team. I think that would be a team, don't you think?
Yeah, well, like I said, you can come up here and I'll take you to a couple places.
And we will. We appreciate that very much, Great Babe. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Great Babe. That was very generous of you.
Dogman Studies back.
Yeah, I did that earlier.
Okay, yeah, I understand. A lot of people want the book because they want to pass it on, and I understand that also.
Yeah, I do too. And I commend you for that.
I think that's a good idea.
Yep.
That creature that I filmed the other night, guys, it's back out there. It screamed at me.
Imagine that.
Yeah, it screamed at me.
Sure. And it's going to continue to until something's done with it.
So I'm probably going to have to do another hunt on it here pretty soon. There was somebody I thought was funny in my comments. They said, I live just west of you, Mike. Really? So you live in the middle of the lake, huh? Because there's no way you can live west of it.
Well, maybe the other side of the lake.
Yeah. Yeah. He says you can autograph the book for the paying members of the channel. That's what Dragon Punk says. Yeah, I would autograph the book. What do you think?
Without a doubt.
We do have a lot of boots on the ground coming up, don't we, Kurt?
Yes, we do.
I think Kurt's fixing to go out on a.
that is correct. It'll be several of them. And I was definitely will get plenty of footage, and we'll edit it together and go ahead, and we're going to see just what we can put out as far as a show with it. I don't know that we'll catch anything. This may be one of those deals where you go out and there's nothing but crickets. But you never know.
So when that thing grabbed you, grabbed you that night, did it just run off, or what happened? Because I thought about that. That was freaky.
Well, like I said, it grabbed me by the ankle and basically snapped me like you would snap a towel. And I yelled. When I yelled, it's like I scared it, and it took off. That's why I think it was a juvenile.
Right. Was it pretty dark where you was at, or by water?
Yep. Beverly, where are you at?
Dollhouse, madam, I truly love your content and appreciate both of you giving your time to provide your insight and knowledge. Thank you.
Dollhouse, mom. Thank you very much.
Yeah, God bless you. Thank you. You don't need to do that. Sandra, thank you very much.
Thank you, Sandra.
Very kind of you.
Yeah, like I say, I'll be doing 2 boots on the ground. I can't guarantee I'm going to see anything. If we have an encounter, we have an encounter. We'll document everything that we can. And also, if there's not an encounter, we document that it was crickets that night. Nothing happening.
Right. Exactly. And that happens a lot, unfortunately. It's not uncommon for that to happen. But,
sure. Well, fortunately, the 2 places that I'm planning on going, and possibly 3 places, they are all pretty active. Not necessarily will you always see something, but it's not uncommon whatsoever to see the tracks.
Yeah, and even finding that, I look at that as finding a jewel, even if you do just find tracks.
Sure. And
that's one Picture, Oklahoma. There's a lot of things I heard going on down there, and if you don't mind, just give me an email on that. I'm interested in that because I had like 3 or 4 other people talk to me about that, and it sounds to me like something's going on down there.
And one thing I am going to say, when I go out, I bring my plaster of Paris with me. If I find a decent track, I cast it, but it must be a good track, one that is castable. Otherwise, you can see tracks. I just walk on from them. If it's not castable, don't even want it.
Scott, yes, the LBL is in our...
yes, it is.
And once I can get everything together and I'm able to do that, I'm not sure when we're going to be able to all meet to do that, but we're planning on it. Cal actually owns property in the LBL. So
yep.
That, I think, that's one of the places. I know Hellbent Holler, they do a lot of LBL, right? Didn't they go down there?
Yep.
And they had something pretty dirty pulled on them, didn't they? By another channel?
Yeah, pretty much. And, a lot of different channels have been to LBL. They all come up with different things, and nobody has been real close yet.
Sounds like Picture, Oklahoma is going to be interesting.
Images look staged like a cover-up for whatever happened there. Lots of Hollywood-style pictures. Imagine that.
Kirk will be looking at that also, I bet.
Yep. I will definitely be doing some research in that.
Great Bait says, stop by Kansas City area on your way north. I'll show you some. Good. Yeah, I'd like that. she's wondering why the LBL is such a hot spot. Cal or Kirk, I'll let you answer that. I'm not real familiar with the LBL. I just know a little bit.
Okay, LBL is a hot spot simply because, number one, when it was turned into a park, you have a good water source both on each side of the land. That's hence why it's called Land Between the Lakes. You have about 90% of the land is wooded. A lot of it is very dense forest. It is growing up even more for some reason. They're letting it get dense. Perfect habitat. They started losing, unfortunately, white-tailed deer to the wasting disease. And all of a sudden, seems like pigs were introduced. Well, you know, pork is a very good dinner for cryptids. And that is one thing I will say. Usually, where you have herds of wild pigs, you'll have cryptids in that area also. Now, as I said, there's lots of cover. It's sparsely populated. So, other than your campers there's just nobody to see them and bother them.
And pigs are a good cleanup too, right?
Yep.
They're going to clean up things. The whole thing.
Yep.
Look at the jowls on that one.
Come on up, Tamara, and go with us. You'll find out.
I also heard the LBL back whenever the settlers arrived, they were actually getting killed by this creature in the LBL.
There's more than one creature there. You have, and I really don't know that they are just Sasquatch, but you have dogmen, you have Sasquatch. I'm betting that some of the things that we're seeing were Gugway, and there were also some things that we're seeing were demonic. A couple people I know actually had a flying thing fly down, land right in front of them. Black, was dead of night. When they went to light it up with a spotlight and pulled their gun, literally it turned into an armadillo.
Jessica, the cryptid huntress, is with us tonight also. She says there's a lot of high strangeness at the LBL.
Very, very much so, Jessica. Very much so.
Hey, Kirk, is this not weird? You were just telling me a little bit about this just the other day.
Yes, I have heard Martin Grove's encounter at the LBL. I actually talked to Martin, what was it, 5 years ago. Yeah, very, very smart man. Whether anybody knows it or not, although I think most people do, Martin was ex-law enforcement. And yeah. You have heard 2 reports of Sasquatch turning into squirrels. I've never heard of that, although I have heard of them turning into crows.
Yeah, she says she has two reports of it.
Right. I've never heard of that, but I have heard them turning into crows, and that's actually an old Indian thing. The Native Americans believe that a lot of Sasquatch can turn into crows, and also that Sasquatch use crows as their eyes.
Well, you know, one group went down to the LBL to investigate it. Whenever they got there, another channel had called the Rangers and told them a big lie that they were going down there carrying weapons and so forth. And ended up getting them, I guess, searched and caused a lot of trouble. And now they're saying if you go down there and they find out that they know you're even an investigator, they won't let you in.
They'll throw you out.
and they said you cannot have like any stickers on your car, or Bigfoot, anything like that. If you're going to go, I guess you have to go with a gray man now.
Yeah, well, basically, I would say, you're going as just a camper. Don't have Bigfoot. Don't have any dogman thing on your car. Don't wear a BFRO shirt per se. You just go in as your normal camper, and you'll probably be okay. My friends, when they actually went there, they went there because one of them has 3 different degrees in forestry. He was able to convince them that he was there to study the flora and fauna.
Right. You have to go in under a different flag to be able to investigate.
Yeah, really Scott, 1982, I believe it was. Time flies when you're having fun.
And then they say the pigs bother people in the LBL, I guess.
Well, yeah, that's what they say, but are they really pigs?
Yeah. What's really eating the people?
Yeah, something's eating people, but are they really pigs?
This person says, I must be a pig because I'm about ready to pop my roast on, or I must be a cryptid about to pop my roast pork on.
And Letitia said she sent it, and I appreciate that very much.
Brandy
no, Brandy, it's not the pigs. It's not the pigs. You know that. I know that. Everybody knows that. But still, they need a story to cover it.
Jessica, I believe, is on tonight. Jessica, if you're still in the chat, write down when you're on tonight and everything so people can find you. Feel free to go ahead and do that. I like to help Jessica out. She's a good person. She works hard. She's one of the very few boots on the ground, and she's more than welcome to put when she's going to be on tonight and everything to support her. Government does not want us. Yeah, the government sure doesn't want us. But ventilated. That's funny. Well, guys, we ran just 2 hours tonight. We're at the end, and we promised everybody we would take questions at the end. So if any of y'all have any questions, put them in big bold letters, and we'll do our best to give you an answer, or at least make something up. But us backwoods hillbillies, we can always make something up.
Yeah, if only I could play the banjo to that music.
I know. I play the banjo, but I can't read.
Well, maybe that's all that moonshine, since you're a backwood hillbilly too.
Yes. They said it was a dog man who killed the family of 4. Is that what you heard?
Wasn't the goat man seen about the LBL? No, the goat man was actually farther west than LBL. The goat man was actually kind of the best way to put it, Monroe County is where those horses were killed mysteriously 2 years ago, and it was over kind of close to that area.
Here's a good question. Tanisha says, what do you think Bigfoot do when another Bigfoot passes away? Like, do you think they bury them, eat them, or anything else?
Well, I'm going to put money on some of them are buried, some of them are consumed. Don't know whether you people know it or not. There's a place in West Virginia called Moundsville. Moundsville is famous for it has 2 burial mounds, a smaller one and a larger one. The smaller one contains Native American remains. The larger one, when it was opened up and they started to excavate the bodies out of it, They were all in the 8 to 10 foot range. They put them back in, sealed it up, and there's a moratorium against ever digging in it.
I just released a video today if they want to go check it out about the possible Bigfoot graves found in Kentucky. It's interesting.
We actually ran into one site that I believe is a Bigfoot graveyard that was in Kentucky. That was, just to give you the general area, over around Hazard. I won't say exactly where, but it was in the Hazard area.
Do you think it's actual graves that they're finding?
Yep.
You know what's going to happen? The Smithsonian's going to grab it.
Sure, and that's one of the reasons. It's one of the reasons I won't give the exact location is because if I do, I'll guarantee you somebody will come in, probably one of the alphabet agencies, and all of a sudden that'll be gone.
Yep, and you know what they'll say? It was an Indian cemetery, and being Indian,
right,
make it federal. And what happens if you dig on federal or take even a rock?
You go to jail.
Go to jail.
Yep. You so much as take one stone off federal land, you will go to jail.
And for you that don't know, if you're given 5 years by a federal sentence, you will serve 5 years to
5 years. Yep.
There's no such thing as good behavior in federal prison.
Yeah, there is. The good behavior is you get out after the 5 years. If you don't have good behavior, then you get some added on. Amy, I didn't take it personally at all. You don't have to apologize. I laugh about it. You know.
Kurt knows how I am.
Yep, I like to keep things upbeat.
I jerk everybody's chain. You ought to hear me when I'm not on here, right, Kurt? When I'm not filtered.
Oh yeah, you found it very close to Moundsville. Sheldon, that means you must be somewhere up around me.
Have you ever heard of stories of Dogman and Sasquatch hunting together, Dogman Steady says?
No, they are in the same area at times, and I do know of them fighting each other, but I also know of them coexisting. Not so much as hunting together, but they'll be hunting in the same area at the same time.
So what's your thoughts? We're going to ask you your opinion. We're going to put you on the spot, Kurt. You think Dogman and Bigfoot are the same thing?
No, totally different. And I'll tell you why.
Natives, they believe the same thing.
Well, and let me tell you why. And this goes back to Native American. The Cherokee, the Shawnee, the Choctaw, and the Chickasaw all have a legend. Now, your Choctaw and Chickasaw are Southern Indians. The Cherokee and the Shawnee, of course, are Northern Indians. This legend tells of a great war between the Dogmen and the Sasquatch that actually took place, as best we've been able to decipher through lots of research, probably took place somewhere right up on the Ohio River. And there's a good possibility part of it was right around Moundsville. At that time, the Dogmen were known to be mainly in the southern U.S. The Sasquatch were northern U.S. The Chickasaw was having problems with Dogman, literally kidnapping and eating their children, kidnapping and eating the squaws. And to make a long story short, the Chickasaw and the Choctaw got together, sent Braves up north. Braves killed a Sasquatch and literally drug its body back down south into Dogman territory. And that's what started the war. Tamara, let me answer. Go ahead. Let me answer Tamara's question first.
Okay.
Melba, her testing is not so much her testing. Melba is basically the clearinghouse. There were a lot of other laboratories involved. So the results are probably pretty good. I actually had some stuff sent in that I sent in for DNA testing. Yeah, I paid for it out of my pocket. The DNA tests of the things that I sent in came back human and unknown primate, both times.
One guy asked, do you think a guy that was hyped up on steroids would be able to fight one of these cryptids now?
No.
He would tear his arm off and beat him with it.
Quite frankly, as strong as even a juvenile Sasquatch is, it just reach up and rip somebody's head off.
Kind of like the guy in the fence world, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
They're just going to shred you.
Kind of like that one case down in Tennessee that I investigated where the one guy's head was ripped off and the other, his head was just twisted completely backwards. Dogmen can be anywhere they want. Dogman has been spotted inside the city of Pittsburgh. Dogman has been spotted inside the city of St. Louis, inside the city of Dallas, inside the city of Houston. Yeah, they are there.
And they're not your friend. Don't gift them.
Exactly.
A lot of people want to gift them.
No, never. Never, because by gifting them, you're telling them it's okay for them to be there, and you're also taking any potential fear they may have of you away from them. So they get comfortable, and then all of a sudden you start gifting, you stop gifting. Now they're pissed off because, hey, this man was feeding me and now he's not. Maybe he's going to be the meal.
Right.
Sheldon, sure. Send me a friend's request on Facebook and we'll go ahead and set something up.
All right, Kirk. I think we've kept everybody long enough for tonight. We do have a live tomorrow, correct?
Correct.
But
you need to figure a time out and you need to send some stuff out.
Yep. As soon as we get the time figured out, we will send it out, notify everybody. Tomorrow is going to be another good live, guys. We're going to talk about mimicking, what these creatures can do. And I think Kirk actually has some really dark stories. So
yeah,
might be a little. Is it going to be a darker night? You think probably than what tonight was?
Maybe, but not too bad.
Right. Mine will be a little bit.
Well, and there again, remember that's all in the eye of the beholder.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. I want to thank y'all for showing up tonight. Thank you for all of the donations that everybody made tonight, for supporting us, hitting the like button, sharing us out, and spending Saturday night with us. Saturday night may be our permanent place that we may end up staying. We're filling out the days right now, seeing what works for us. But we appreciate y'all showing up tonight. And, of course, you are our family, and you'll never hear us run you guys down. You're actually appreciated here. Your comments, opinions, and theories are appreciated here. And keep your head on a swivel. Don't be something dinner, and I'll let Kurt have the last word.
Guys, I appreciate you being here. We are a family. You will never hear us run you down. We will always answer truthfully, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow. All the fathers in the audience, happy Father's Day. And with that, we shall see you. Good night, all.
Happy Father's Day, guys.